Hey everybody, Todd Michael Putnam from D&D Creative Table Designs, bringing another adventure table idea. We had been trying to broadcast my actual campaigns. The challenge of that is I don't have a dedicated cameraman. I don't have the bandwidth to do a direct, live feed, and just a number of things. It didn't work out the way I wanted to. We did record the sessions. The sessions themselves were fantastic, and I did upload those. But you can only see things from far. You don't really get a chance to see the map up close. So we're going to head back and do things the way that I was doing it before, where I just do an overview of the adventure table idea and where I got my stuff and how I came up with it. We are not on D&D Creative Table Designs, though. We are not giving up on the idea of a live podcast. I am partnering with some really great people. Super excited to announce it. Hopefully, possibly even by the time this video gets uploaded. Partnering with a great couple of people and an awesome DM who has a very professional 3D design setup, all kinds of Dwarven Forge, lots of experience DMing, really great campaign. This is their second year that they're doing it, so they're in it for the long haul, and really excited to make that announcement. So look soon for that announcement coming, if it hasn't actually been announced by the time this is uploaded. In the meantime, this session right here is, let me start. For the material components, this is going to be a wilderness travel type session, and we've got my river, which is from Pegasus Hobbies. I have some forest banks and trees and forest setups like that. All that's from Dwarven Forge. But mixed in with that, I've got different types of trees, some of which I had painted different colors. And bushes like this, and the rocks, which I had black washed. Those are all from Monster Fight Club. And what you see I did here is I mixed them together so that you get some variety in the forest. If you have all Dwarven Forge, it looks fantastic, but there's not much variety. If you have all Monster Fight Club, it looks fantastic, but there's not much variety. By mixing and matching the two of them, interspersing them together, I get the feel that I'm aiming for, which is to have a little bit of variety in the forest, and it just makes things nicer. So also, of course, the caverns that they'll be finding and exploring, those are Dwarven Forge. Those are their caverns, their original cavern set. And then I've also got some elements from Thor Mountain that are thrown in there just because it dovetails so well and adds a little bit of a Z-axis to inside the caverns. So the idea for this particular adventure is that the characters are going to be going out hunting orcs. There's a bounty for them, for the orcs, not the characters. So they're going to be going out, but they don't particularly have in my campaign. They don't have a druid with them yet. They don't have a ranger. They don't have anybody even with survival skill. So it's going to be pretty much a miserable experience for them to try and track down the roving bands of orcs that have been harassing travelers and merchants. And they're not going to have the berries to rub on them. They're not going to know what berries to rub on them for, like, the no-see-ums, or to keep the bugs and stuff away. They're not going to know which berries they can and cannot eat, which things are the poison oak and the poison ivy, so they'll get rashes and stuff. It's just going to be a miserable experience. And then over in this section here, when they finally 2 days in, they come upon a stream, and they go to make camp for nightfall. They're going to get a little visit from a druid underneath this tree here. I could pull it up, but there's a mini in there. There's a druid in this tree who will, and it's not really designed to sit on there, so I don't know if it's going to hold. Oh, it did. Good job. Who will reveal himself to them, and he's going to say that you're trespassing on my land and you're treating it terribly. Not that the characters themselves have been wantonly abusing the forest, but because they're untrained, they're just breaking all kinds of stuff. They're ripping off tree branches and stuff and burning them to set their fire, and they're killing deer and stuff, anything they can to eat, but they're wasting lots of it, and they're doing things in a non-forest friendly way. And so this druid, who's been watching them for some time, approaches them and says that, hey, you're not treating my forest very well. When they argue back, he'll say, how would you feel if I went into one of your cities and went into one of your temples and just started throwing things and breaking things and setting things on fire and killing people in your church? How would you respond to that? So of course the players, seeing that there's only one druid, might might not necessarily be hostile, but might have some cojones on them and tell them, too bad, so sad, or however they respond. They may try and enlist the guy's aid. We'll see what they do. But the druid has an ace up his sleeve that he has them surrounded, and I've got several large treants from WizKids, two of the original ones, and then they've got three other ones I think they come out with. They're a little bit smaller, but still fantastic, that will surround them and let them know that, hey, no, the druid's the one who's in charge here. This is his home. And he's basically going to say, look, you need to prove that you're better than your behavior. And he also is concerned about the orcs that have been raiding in the area, because they've certainly been doing all kinds of damage to the forest. And he's going to tell them that he's going to demand a price, just as a price would be demanded if he had gone into civilization and destroyed a church, for example. And he's going to demand that they give up all of their gold for him to hold until they destroy the orcs. The gold means nothing to him. He's a druid. He lives out in the woods. There's nothing for him to buy. He has no incentive for the gold itself, but he knows that it's valuable to the players. Or I should say to the heroes. And so he's going to hold that basically at threat from giant treants, which massively outclass the level 2 characters that the adventurers are, until the players actually take out the orcs. But he gives them a heads up and he tells them where the orcs are to go do that. And if they destroy the orcs or drive them out of the area, then all of their gold will return, plus possibly a small gift. So that is the bargain that will be made. Over time, they will head in the direction where the orcs are, and then I'll do a little bit of rearranging on the fly for here, just moving some trees and stuff around so it feels different. Pull the river thing off so that the one area looks like they've traveled to someplace else. And then they will be surrounded by a circle of orcs riding dire wolves. And they think Indian style, just circling like General Custard kind of a thing, only not that many orcs. Enough certainly that the players can fend them off, but it'll be a heck of a fight. So they'll fight them off, and the orcs will fight for a while, but after they lose about half or a little bit more than half their number, the rest of them will dash off. When those dire wolves take a full hexen to dash, they've got a movement rate of 100. They're out of the character's range before they can do much about it. And they will head off. In the next day or so, they'll notice there'll be some huge fires that are happening way off in the distance that they don't see. And apparently they assumed that it was the direction that the orcs had been ran off in on their dire wolves. And those fires cause tremendous smoke. Well, after a certain amount of time, they're going to start hearing a buzzing sound, and there's going to be giant wasps that basically have been burned out of their homes by the orcs. They set the fires in order to drive the wasps out, in order for them to it's a twofold win for the orcs. They get to destroy and burn, which is fun for them, the forest. But then on top of that, the giant wasps come heading over in this direction, and the wasps come down and attack the player characters. And they have that encounter. So the players deal with that, and they have to fight those off, and they realize that the orcs are indeed dangerous, not just to the forest, but to everyone as well. And it just further solidifies their desire to one, get their gold back, two, earn their bounty, and three, just to take some kind of revenge for what these guys are doing to them. The players will eventually come upon an opening to a cave. There'll be a single dire wolf guard out here that they'll need to be able to get it and either silence it or kill it before it has an opportunity to call its compatriots and let a warning. Of course, it's a dire wolf, so it's got very, very excellent senses. So the characters are going to have to be really careful about how they take this creature out, so they don't alert the rest of its compatriots. Inside the first cavern is going to be where the dire wolves themselves rest. There'll be another four dire wolves in here, including the lead dire wolf, the one who's the biggest and strongest of it, sort of a mini boss, if you will. Once they take those out, there's a small cave section that goes through. It's supposed to be a little bit longer than this right here. This is just a segue kind of a thing. That goes into another cave section, and this is where the orcs themselves are. There'll be a couple of fires in here. I'm missing one of them at the moment, but there'll be a couple of fires up front. This is where the orcs are, and there'll be a big battle there. After a couple of rounds, though, there's also going to be, you can see that there's like this little shamanistic totem here, and then I've also got, let me bring it, I'll pull it out, just because I didn't have it in so you can see. Here we go. Sorry for the camera work. There'll be this basically a golden skull, not really gold, but a gold colored painted type skull that's on top of it, and it's got one eye to it. And there is a orc shaman. He's actually an orc wizard, and he's basically duped everyone into believing that he is a prophet for Grumish, the orc god. And so he's got them all duped into believing that, and so they think he is the mouth of Grumish. And he stands back, and he's going to cast like Maximilian's grasping hand or whatever, and other wizard type spells as the players engage with the orcs. And the long and the short of it was that story. That is what happened. Is there's a wizard orc who has basically drummed up the religious fervor of the orcs, and saying that they are basically the tip of Grumish's spear, and they have been given a divine mandate to begin taking back the world. And so that is what's been driving this stuff out. That's what's been causing the orcs to do this. So they need to take him out, destroy the idol, consecrate the area, and they will be able to earn their cash back. They will get their money back from the druid who visited them earlier. He'll just leave a big pile of it, and then he'll also leave a little extra special magical treasure. There'll be some magical items here also, a magical shield and a magical cowl I've got for them. And then if for some reason that happens to be too short of a session, I just do have a couple extra encounters. One will be with a wyvern, which is a pretty fierce monster, and they'll have to fight that. That's just if we're short on time. And then in the highly unlikely event that even that runs short on time, just an encounter with some will-o-wisps to round out the adventure. So they get some RP here with the druid. They get some good combat in. They get some good exploring in, and they're adventuring, and they'll have to make some survival checks without any proficiency in order to avoid some nastier things like rashes and cuts and bruises and stuff like that. That's the idea of it. This is, I think, session 6 of the Borderlands campaign, and there it is behind the screen. I just got these guys here, and I feel terrible because now I can't remember where I got them from, other than on either eBay or Etsy. But basically, they're dry erase initiative cards. That so you've got the player's name on the front side of it, or the player's name, I should say, the character's name on the front side of it. They can see which order people are going in. Got room for their armor class, passive perception, how many hit points they have, whether or not they have stealth disadvantage stuff. But it's dry erase, so you just erase away on it and make the changes on the fly. So, and then behind the scenes, of course, I have my Deadly Reapers. Whenever they go into death saves, I put those 30 feet away from them on scale on the board. Every time they fail a death save, it moves 10 feet closer. Once it gets on top of the player's square, it cuts the silver cord that binds them to this world, and they are indeed dead. And then I've got my notes for the actual adventure, but then I also have a big dry erase board where I track hit points, stuff like that. As always, I use stat tracker cards. I love these things for dire wolves and orcs, and they have ones for things that are just made up for. You can put all your own stuff on there if you create your own homebrew monsters. Those are great. And then if you haven't seen it or haven't tried it, what we're playing the entire campaign with is Creatures and Catacombs. This is the version 2 beta of Creatures and Catacombs. This entire campaign is. There have been over 1,000 downloads. I think over 1,100 downloads actually of people checking it out and really, really enjoying it. It's all pick and choose as you go, so it's like a buffet line. You can pick whatever homebrew rules you like, and any ones that you don't. So far, everybody is loving all the rules. They definitely love the dynamic defense. It makes combat fast and exciting. There's lots of different things with nat 1s and nat 20s that are put in there that can really change up combat and make it turn on a dime and make it feel less turn by turny. So that's it. And then of course the thing that is cursed by my players, my skull dice bowl, which was actually a candy dish for Halloween. But I looked at that and I was like, no, this is a perfect dice bowl. I just cut out some drawer mats, put them in there to dull the sound on it a little bit. And I've been using it for years, and it's working great. And this guy little here, I got it from a Kickstarter, and I have several of them. That's just a 2d4 plus 2 Potion of Healing, and then I have ones for 44 plus 4 and so on and so forth. I got those from Kickstarter. I would say go on either Etsy or eBay, I guess. I can't remember where it was, or Kickstarter even, and healing potions. Do a search for that, and I'm sure you'll be able to find them. So that's it. Sorry if this session went a little long, 15 minutes, but it's been a while since I've made a direct video like this, so I just wanted to be a little more comprehensive about what's going on and what's going to happen in the future, the very near future, for D&D Creative Table Designs. We are going to be bringing you a very exciting, very well professionally produced podcast. I should say we're bringing it. We'll be co-live streaming it so that you can see it direct on the D&D Creative Table Designs Facebook group. So definitely check that out if you are looking for a live broadcast that is terrain intensive. It'll give you all kinds of tips and tricks, and you can see the way other DMs run their terrains, how they handle some of the challenges that people think there are, and the creative way that they bring their campaigns to life. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and we'll keep going. The channel is growing. I think we're over 330, 370, something like that. So the channel's growing. Thank you so much for all of you, and I will see you next adventure. Thank you. Bye.